meeting for June 11th. Do we have any public comment on the agenda? All right. God, it seems like a terrible echo here. All right, seeing none, let's dive right in. Nicole, you're our first person up.
Right, good morning. So I asked Carrie Davis and Tom Sturgis with ATG Cognizant to join us this morning because we have a request to approve a resolution for a new Big Sky Trust Fund job creation application for ATG. And you'll see that later on, a little later down the agenda, I have the item to approve the amendment for their second sort of, usually we call it the second year of funding for a job creation grant, but ATG is moving much faster than that. They were awarded, I think, last fall to create 34 jobs and then put in a request after they'd hired those people to receive their additional funding for another 34. They received that. They've created all 68 jobs, and we're currently in the process of closing out that current grant that they have awarded, and they would like to apply again for the future year of funding for BSTF. So Carrie and Tom are just here to update you about what is happening at ATG and their plans for the next year. So I'll turn it over to them. And you're muted, Tom.
Yep, Tom.
There's so many times I do that in the course of a day. Good morning, everyone. Great to be with you all. Appreciate the time. As Nicole said, my name is Tom Sturgis, and I work with strategy for ATG and general manager of, proud to say, our largest office, which is in Missoula, Montana. And just quickly, for those that aren't familiar, ATG has been in Missoula for coming up on 10 years now. And we were acquired by Cognizant, which is a Fortune 200 company based in New Jersey, about 18 or 19 months ago. And one of the flagship reasons was because of the strength of the Missoula office, the relationship that we have with the community, with the University of Montana, with the state grants program. And we have become one of the fastest growing locations for Cognizant. And they've been putting a tremendous amount of investment. Some of you may have heard of the AIM program, which we use to take people from zero technology background, and we hired 80 people last year from that program alone. It was great in a COVID world. Many of them came from the service industry, and I know there were 80 people that were pretty comfortable having, full-time jobs with benefits, and they could remember the times when it was struggling in the services industry. So good, strong, dependable jobs, and the future is very bright for us. We continue to have great programs for talent acquisition and talent development. We are ready to go with cohort 4 of that program. We have 30 folks identified that we were, ready to start, and then COVID hit. And we're in the process right now of identifying virtual ways to deliver that training. That training is done in collaboration with the University of Montana and Missoula College. So we see tremendous growth, and we're presenting an option. Carrie has more of the specifics of a 2-year projection. That 2-year projection is below what we did in the previous 2 years, and so we're very, very confident that in our ability to achieve that growth. We do have some facilities construction that is underway, yet to be announced, but underway. Martin, I'll be able to give you more details on that here soon. So we're very bullish on continued growth in Missoula. And Carrie, if you maybe have a few specifics, and then field any questions that you may have.
Great, thanks Tom for the quick intro and details and background. We're looking to apply for an additional 2 years of jobs equivalent to what we've created in this previous 2 years of jobs, about 68 positions total, to continue supporting ATG and Cognizant growth in the Missoula location. We're excited to leverage the grants. The grants have always been a huge component of our growth in bringing jobs to Missoula and Montana. So we're just excited to continue to have that partnership with Missoula County and with Montana Department of Commerce to bring more jobs to Montana. bring back our Montanans who have moved away and now want to come back, or our graduates from Montana University system. So we mentioned it before in many applications and notes and meetings, but we've been lucky to hire many talented individuals, and most of them are from all corners of Montana, but also want to come back to Montana, or were the folks that drove through Montana and just fell in love and wanted to stay and also work in an awesome fast-paced technology position and role. So we're excited to partner with you to accommodate that for those folks and bring in that talent to Montana. Happy to answer any questions if the group has them.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Josh.
I'm excited to keep moving this forward as well. So I motion to approve the resolution authorizing application to the Big Sky Economic Development Trust Fund Job Creation Grant Program.
Thank you, Commissioner Bureau.
Yeah, thanks. We're thrilled to have you and really excited to hear about your success. It's a wonderful bright spot right now, and keep it up.
Great.
Thank you.
you.
We appreciate your support.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you all.
Motion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. There we go. Thanks, Nicole. Thanks, Tom and Carrie.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Yeah. Nicole, you got another one.
Sure, you want to bump me up and approve the, this is the amendment for ATG's current grant to expand their funding. A little reason why this is happening now, we actually applied for this back in March, and Commerce sort of put it on hold for a couple of months when COVID hit because they weren't really sure about their funding situation. They thought that maybe they would be utilizing some of the BSTF funds for COVID relief. Because of the CARES Act funding, that ended up not happening. So they did approve this additional funding. In the meantime, ATG has already hired all of the positions that were approved for this, additional funding. So these jobs have been created, but we're just amending the contract now, mainly due to COVID delay.
Okay, yeah, it's very straightforward. So I motion to approve that the board sign approve and sign the amended business assistance agreement between Missoula County and ATG and BSTF.
Great. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, thanks, Nicole.
Thank you.
Thank you again, everyone. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Lisa Bishevitz.
Good morning, everyone. Nice
you?
to see you all. I'm here to present our fiscal year 21 DUI task force work plan that comes to you from our reinstatement fees and that come from the state. And I can't remember all the numbers with our ANA code with that, but it's a very legal process and how we get these funds allocated from the state and MDT. So every year we put a DUI task force plan together, and I want to give Steve Schmidt all the credit for this work plan. He worked really hard to evolve this work plan in his first year taking over after Lonnie Hutchinson retired last year. And so it's a very robust plan. I hope you had a minute to look through it. It's like 23 pages long, but it really talks about how we're going to move forward in Missoula to educate and prevent DUI fatalities and accidents and behaviors in our community, and to educate young people either through the driver's training classes, which will be evolving online maybe, who knows. Everything's in evolution right now in how we educate and communicate with our different stakeholder groups. But I just wanted to say that a couple highlights of this plan are he is going to be launching a Drive Safe Missoula media campaign talking about that you are in control when you get behind a wheel. So it's all around positive social norming. So you aren't shaming a person about their behavior when they make bad choices, but to empower them to make positive choices. And so I just wanted to say that there will be a website and there will be different kinds of messaging sprinkled throughout the community with social media and billboards. And so I wanted to let you know that was happening. And then we will be looking at assessment and evaluation tools to see how this works for us. And I just really want to give Steve a lot of credit for this work and know that he's also been pulled in an incident command mode. So he's been working really hard over in that capacity as well. I wanted to also mention that our funding for this is really kind of up and down over the years. To make the program stable, we've really formed a strong partnership with State Farm Insurance Company, and they have been consistently over the past 3 years gifting the program around $8,000 to do educational outreach work with DUI media and and talking about reducing and educating the public around that. And this year we got our grant award up to $19,000. So we're continuing to build this strong relationship and collaboration with State Farm that I think will help us in the future, because I think our reinstatement fees might go down, like this quarter, for example, with shelter in place and not as many people being on the road. And it is very unpredictable with the reinstatement fees because it's based on human behavior. And if we're doing our jobs, then, you know, hopefully people aren't having their licenses taken away as often because they're not getting pulled over for DUIs. So I would also, the last thing I would mention is that this is run with a coalition, the DUI Task Force, which is a very robust, diverse group of stakeholders, from citizens to the healthcare industry, law enforcement, lots of nonprofits. It's a very well-functioning coalition that Lonnie built up over the years, and Steve has been carrying that forward. So, and they have moved into virtual land like all of us, so to get their work done. Did you guys have any questions about the plan?
I just had one question about the graphs. Ooh, I'm really sorry about that. Can you hear me?
Yeah, a question about what?
The graph that shows a pretty dramatic drop in DUI arrests in the city. Is that just I think you've explained this to us before in the past, and is that just ride shares, Uber, bus? What caused that?
Actually, we investigated that about 4 years ago, and what it is that back in the day, we had actual hired law enforcement to be on DUI patrol, that they would actually, we had more law enforcement pulling people over for DUIs. And so it was a capacity issue, and we don't have that anymore. So our law enforcement is doing, as you know, a lot of other work in our community, and, you know, our first responders to a lot of different calls in our community. And so we don't have that capacity to be really targeted with pulling people over and doing checks around DUIs.
Okay, thank you.
So, yeah.
Great, thanks, Lisa.
I'm sorry, I can't get back to the correct screen. Here we go. Sorry, Lisa.
You're good.
I'm going to make a motion here in a second.
Once you get there.
I motion that we approve the Missoula County DUI Task Force annual plan, and shout out to Steve Schmidt.
Cool.
There you go.
Thank you so much.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thanks a lot.
Awesome. Can I ask one question of clarification, since we're functioning in a different world right now? And this is to Annie, because this is kind of time sensitive that I get this document to MDT. So it will be signed, and then you will send it back to Julie Moore or me?
Yes. Yeah. So I'll put it through DocuSign. I'll have the commissioners sign. As soon as I get it back, I'll send it electronically back to, I can do you and Julie Moore if you want.
That would be great. Yeah.
Okay. Will do.
I appreciate it. Thank you kindly.
You're welcome.
Have a good day, everyone.
You too.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, Matt Jennings.
I'm going to handle this for Matt since I'm already here. Before the commission is a resolution to appoint a special deputy county attorney in state of Montana versus Bill Thalen. The request is to appoint Missoula City Chief Criminal Prosecutor Keithy Worthington to cover this case. And the reason we're requesting that she be appointed is because the complainant in the case is actually a staff member within our own office.
Makes sense.
Okay. I motion to approve that the board appoints special deputy county attorney.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian.
Okay, John Stegmeyer.
Good morning, everybody. I'm happy to be here today talking to you about a contract for doing some pavement preservation maintenance on a couple of the county's shared use paths. This is exciting for us because it's something we've been staging up for several years. Getting ready to, we have an excellent shared use path system for active transportation, but what we haven't really been able to keep up with is the maintenance. And this project, doing seal coat and crack seal work on Mullen Road and Cody Lane Pass, represents a big leap forward for our program and for the county to start doing the preventative maintenance that's going to safeguard this infrastructure for the long term. Just like our roads, this work is necessary to keep the asphalt bound together and keep the structures lasting longer. So we're really excited about the quote that we received when we put this project out for bid. Initially, we thought we would have the funding in our current budget to just do one of these paths, and the numbers came back so optimal that we'll have the funds with our existing budget to do both pathways. So we're really excited about the quote that we received. This immediate project, working with Shadow Asphalt, who from all outward regards is one of the preeminent contractors in our area for doing this work. And then having this as a benchmark, an example of using their work as a way to model how we want our trails maintained, with the hope that in time County Public Works will be able to start assuming some of this work when they have the capacity.
Great.
Can you brag about them a little more? Because I don't. What makes them preeminent? Like what's special about their paving?
Well, I think a lot of it is just the experience that they have. When we went out for, when I solicited bids for this, I had 8 or 9 contractors express interest in this project initially. And then once I actually asked for a formal bid, I was only able to get a handful. And theirs was the lowest. But the recommendations that I received, the referrals that I received from them, came from a lot of other developments. The Ranch Club, for example, has a pretty extensive pathway system for their golf carts, and they had just glowing things to say about Shadow, as well as some homeowner associations that have paths within their subdivisions. Just good work, good communication. Safe, clean, delivering the product on schedule. So that gives me a lot of confidence that we've got a good contractor to work with. And so far, putting together the proposal has been great. They've been understanding that we're new to this work. By and large, we can go to references for best practices, but we haven't done a whole lot of it. And so they've been helpful with guiding us to, here's how you're going to scope this the best way for you, and that type of thing. So that's all been very positive for me to help give us some learning and confidence that we're going to get a good outcome.
Great, thanks.
Yeah.
Josh, were you gonna say something?
No, I'm psyched.
Okay.
Good.
I move that we approve the contract with Shadow Asphalt.
Great. Thanks. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thanks a lot, John.
Yeah, thank you all. Have a good day.
See ya.
Okay, Chet, we're going to talk about the Downtown Heritage Interpretive Plan.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. You'll remember back earlier this week on Monday, we were fortunate enough to have Emmy as well as Jimmy Grant come to talk to you a little bit about their efforts in helping create the Downtown Heritage Interpretive Plan for the city of Missoula. This is a request for the commission to adopt a resolution of support for that interpretive plan. And earlier this week as well, on Monday, the city council adopted a resolution of support for the plan. A little bit of background here is the continued development and activity downtown has brought with it some interest in tying in some of the history and heritage of Missoula as part of the experience that folks can have when they are downtown. And this plan is really helping tier from the master planning effort with which the commissioners adopted a resolution of support for last year, and helping create a vision for what some of that interpretation and education and experience downtown folks that both live here and visit here might be able to experience into the future. So that's kind of a quick nutshell. If you have any questions for me, I'm happy to answer those.
What was the kind of the timeline for this, Steve?
The timeline for the plan itself?
Yeah.
And I'm assuming, Juanita, you're looking at kind of the implementation side of this?
Yes. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there's not a specific timeline for this. It does outline some goals and some ideas and direction for where, as opportunities arise or as there's collaborative discussions, folks might look to work on some of these interpretive concepts, but there's not specific timelines tied to specific projects per se.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and I really appreciated that Emmy was open to sharing this with some of our community councils and maybe looking to a time in the future where some of our outlying communities create similar plans to celebrate their own history and create interpretive plans so that folks who visit can engage with that history.
So with that, I motion to adopt a resolution of support for the Missoula Downtown Heritage Interpretive Plan.
Excellent. All in favor?
Aye.
Right. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Chuck.
Thank you.
Hey, Dory.
Asking to approve.
Good morning. We briefly discussed with you the potential of hiring a consultant to start reviewing, and if the commission decides following all the way through with adoption of a target economic development district, tax increment district in the Y area. So this is a contract with a consultant, and we are setting up meetings and with owners and jurisdictions, so ready to move forward. And it's on an hourly basis. If the commission decides at some step through this that you don't want to proceed, then we're not obligated any further past that.
Okay.
Any questions?
Was there a dollar figure associated with this?
Oh, I'm sorry, 30,000, up to 30,000. I'm sorry if that didn't make it in the motion.
All right.
Yeah, there's. I motion to. There's just 3 extra P or an extra P instead.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I motion to approve the independent contractor agreement with the Community Development Services.
Excellent. I'm excited we're going to begin work on this, Dory.
Yeah, thank you. I am too.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
And it's Andrew here.
Yes, I am. Thank you. Good morning. I'm bringing forward a bond anticipation note that we have outstanding with First Security Bank and that we issued in anticipation of issuing our special assessment revenue bonds out at the fairgrounds. With the COVID crisis, we were delayed in getting out into the marketplace with the audit and some other things. And what we'd like to do is extend this for another 45 days. There's the bank has waived, they're great, waived no costs, no attorney's fees, nothing. Just extension of 45 days until we get to the maturity date beyond June 26th, at which time I'm hoping to actually get into the market, issue the bonds, and pay off the bond anticipation note. So I'm asking for you to approve a resolution extending the maturity date of the bond anticipation note.
Great. I so move to approve amending and restating the Fairground Special District Assessment Revenue Refunding Bond Anticipation Note to extend the final maturity date of the note.
Great. All right, all in favor?
Thanks, Andrew. Good luck. Aye.
Andrew, is this, do I need to sign this in live and in person?
Yeah, I have it here in my office. I'll bring it over.
I'm just down the hall, so
yeah.
We can right after.
Great.
Thank you.
Even with a pen.
Even with a real pen. Yeah. Not a click of a mouse. Okay, do we have any correspondence?
Not to my knowledge.
Excellent. Thanks.
Also, good morning.
Good morning to you, Ann. Okay.
How's the dew claw, Ann?
Yes.
She's managed to keep the bandage on, which is very exciting.
Oh, God.
Okay, we're going to leap to discussion items. Our first one is a discussion on county policy on reimbursement for political campaigns. Who would like to head us off in that direction?
Dave, where is Dave? Strohmeyer.
Yeah, with this one, was this a Dave item?
Well,
I believe it was. I can talk about the policy if you'd like.
Please, Mr. Wall, go for it.
Okay. It's actually a fairly simple policy when we put into when we put in a couple of years ago after we had a kind of a large political campaign that required I think the sheriff's office to spend quite a bit of money to provide security and things like that. So whenever there's a large political campaign that comes in, it's done often with very little notice, so we can't put an agreement in place, and it often costs us quite a lot of money, quite a lot of resources to deal with that, especially with security from the sheriff's office. If it's a small deal, we don't spend that much money. We're not too worried about it. But the policy states if we use over $1,000 of county money, that was kind of this unforeseen expenditures, we're going to bill the campaign for that and get paid back for it. So there is a limit of $1,000. It is for any political campaign for any party that comes. And that's basically the essence of the policy.
Have we ever successfully enacted this, or not enacted? Have we ever successfully gotten reimbursed for the money we spent on law enforcement, et cetera, to provide security to a political campaign event? No. Campaign event. Imagine we're talking about campaign is a little bit misleading. It goes on and on. But we're talking about a specific event happened where we had to provide security.
That's correct. No, we haven't received any. But this is something that more and more communities are doing, and as it becomes more the norm, I think these campaigns are going to feel more pressure to actually pay for these events as more communities ask for reimbursement.
Have we ever tried to ask for reimbursement?
We have, yes.
And how much did we lose?
Oh gosh, I can't remember.
Or Chris, do you know? Or Andrew?
I don't remember, but let me do some digging while you're having your conversation.
Okay.
So, Dave, what happened when we asked before? Were we told no, or did we just sort of get ghosted?
We got ghosted. We sent it. I think it was for. Well, I'm not sure which campaign it was for, so I don't want to say the wrong name. But
it was the presidential campaign, or no? Yeah, no, it was
the president. The president came.
That's right.
But he was campaigning for I believe, a Senate candidate, or either that or governor.
I think it was for Gianforte.
I think it was too, but I'm not certain. And so we sent them, we sent the campaign a letter asking for reimbursement as an invoice, and never heard from them.
Do you think there's anything we could do preemptively? That I could say, we imagine a situation where we hear that a national candidate is going to be descending in. Our county is going to require something. What could we do preemptively?
Well, I think we can simply contact the campaign and let them know we have this policy in place, and ask, frankly, for an agreement.
To do a big event like that, is any permit required?
Not if it's outside the city limits.
Okay, I wonder if we could, I mean, I'm just speaking off the cuff right now, we don't have a real clear plan, but I wonder if we could create a permitting program for such events, and in the act of getting a permit, a person has to cover the costs of security, so we don't have to chase them down afterwards.
Well, one of the things, when we first were thinking about this policy, we were thinking about all different kinds of events that take place. And, you know, it started to turn into something that was tough to kind of think about what we were really trying to do, what we were trying to accomplish. And I think we narrowed it down to just political campaign events, because they are so last minute. They just kind of pop in with sometimes just a week's or two notice. And I think that's the main thing. So I don't know if we want to do a permitting thing or not.
I was just thinking of a way to try and get the money up front. And, you know, even if you're going to have a political event where you imagine more than 100 people, you need to get a permit, and we can turn it around in 48 hours, and the cost of the permit reflects the cost of security.
Yeah.
Dave, could we just require like a deposit in the policy? Like an upfront deposit if a political campaign requests security from our sheriff's office?
But they don't necessarily request security. They just assume that, right? They're not requesting security, are they? They're just assuming that security is going to be there. Oh, okay.
They are, but often that request comes from the Secret Service, and we don't really have a choice. We can't say, no, we're not going to provide security unless you give us X amount of money.
So the permit work.
Yeah. I'm not sure there's a way to get through it on the front end, unless we can just hammer out an agreement between the county and the campaign.
Wait, so Dave, explain that to me again. Secret Service contacts our sheriff's department and says we require X number or whatever services, and there's no communication back and forth. I mean, there's no way that our sheriff department can require reimbursement. Like that's just.
That was my understanding. If anybody else on here knows something different.
You know, the Secret Service, you know, obviously coordinates the security for the president, and the president comes in, you know, obviously unannounced, you know, for a number of reasons, including security. But I think there's a coordination effort with local law enforcement, the Highway Patrol, and other law enforcement agencies throughout the state when the president comes in. But
hello, everyone.
Hey.
There's Stromer.
So I don't know if there was an actual requirement to secure this area, or if it was crowd control, or what it might be.
I think from a standpoint, if it's something the commissioner's interested in doing, then I think on the front end, what we do is we send it to all statewide candidates, right? So that their campaigns have that requirement in advance. You know, Missoula County has, you know, a letter that would say Missoula County has this policy in place. If you're planning on doing, you know, events that will require this level of security, we ask that you reach out so we can
bill you.
Well, so we can work through what the arrangement will be. Yeah.
Looks like my timing was impeccable.
Perfect.
Yes.
Yeah.
Chris, I just emailed you just a draft of the letter that we had sent out just for the information.
So even though I'm coming in somewhat midstream, are we discussing the possibility of preemptively letting statewide candidates and their campaigns know about our policy for large political campaign events? And
yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And so Josh and Juanita and Dave, the letter that was sent in October of 2018 listed $13,000 in costs. It was $12,922.
Wow. And we ate that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, we ate it. We have not received a response back from either of the campaigns to whom the invoice was sent. So, yeah, I guess my question was whether we just preemptively go ahead and just make sure everyone, whether or not they are currently planning a large event that could impose potential costs on Missoula County, let them know that this is our policy, or do we just kind of wait until we catch wind of something being planned to reach out to those folks?
I think preemptively is more fair and honest.
For sure. And everybody else.
I would be good with that.
And that's a good thing heading into this fall, where these things will happen for sure. So maybe we want to come up with a letter we can draft to all the major statewide candidates who are going to come here and let them know.
And the advantage of doing that is to just head off at the pass what I think are the erroneous assumptions that somehow we are simply applying this standard to a certain political party and not across the board, and that is not the case. That was the reason why we drafted this policy in the first place, was to make it entirely transparent that regardless of political party or affiliation, our expectation is that Missoula County taxpayers ought not to be footing the bill for partisan campaign events.
Right.
This is Ann. I'd be happy to draft a letter for you to consider.
Great, thank you.
You bet.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Of course.
Okay, do we have any other communication needs or requests?
I don't have anything unless you guys have something.
Thanks, Allison. Okay, COVID-19, flooding, fire, seismic activity, fall, lightning, locusts, anything.
I don't believe we have anything today. I don't see Adrian on the call, so.
Great.
And I guess, I think you guys know it already, but I will be attending this field trip in the morning with the Secretary of Agriculture and Senator Daines up Marshall Grade, I think it is.
What are you going to be looking at?
I think the Marshall Woods forest management project up there. I got a call yesterday from one of the assistants to the regional forester for the U.S. Forest Service, wondering if I wanted to say a few words at the event. So I will, I'll be doing that, and then going out to the airport where there will be this signing ceremony at 10:30 of some secretarial memorandum that the Secretary of Agriculture will be signing.
Okay.
Is this, sorry Dave, I'm confused, but is this Marshall Block, like by Placid Lake Marshall Block, or what?
No, Marshall Grade. So, you know, out past East Missoula, the old ski area.
Oh, thank you. Marshall Grade, got it. Yeah.
And what's the memorandum that he's going to sign?
Unclear. I think some sort of direction to the U.S. Forest Service as far as management, but what the specifics are, your guess is as good as mine.
Okay.
Dennis Bragg here. My camera's not working. What time is that Marshall Woods part of it? They didn't tell us about that.
Who is that?
Dennis Bragg.
My camera's not up right now. What time is the Marshall Woods part of this? They didn't tell us about that.
I was told to be up there at 7:30 in the morning, so I have no idea who the invitation went out to, but.
Okay, thanks. Just thought I'd ask.
Yep.
Okay, next up, Gardner v. Missoula County.
We wanted to give you a preliminary heads up. We received a notice of a lawsuit, Spencer Gardner versus the Missoula County Detention Center. Mr. Gardner is representing himself from Montana State Prison and is making claims, 1983 due process claims for his time spent at the detention center in August of 2017. It is early days. I need to review the file with the detention center and confer with Erica about the case. We have approximately 30 days to accept and acknowledge service of the lawsuit, and then 60 days to file and answer any motion to dismiss that we wish to do. So what the commission can be expect is that I'll review the file, speak with Erica, and I expect we'll be back with you within a couple of weeks to request authority to defend the county and acknowledge it, file and answer.
All right, great, thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks.
All right, thanks. Do we have any upcoming events or invitations? Signing of items? Other comments or instructions? All right, great. We have an extra 15 minutes in our lives. Thank you all for coming this morning.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.